No, I got you. But, I mean, still if he was your number 4 in the rotation, you'd be fine.
I'm not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a big fan. I got to be honest. I'm not a big fan. But
Eddie Rosario re-signed today with the Braves. Solerno's still out there with his power. Tommy Pham also still out there.
Right.
So there's a decent amount of good free agents in baseball left. So
where will they go? Well, you know what? Now we have to see once they start playing games. When do they start playing games? I think Friday, right?
Yep.
So a few people should be tearing their ACLs on Friday. So then Tommy Pham and those guys will be able to find jobs, which will be nice for them.
It's going to be really good times for these guys as they're trying to find jobs as they get hurt. It's just one of those unfortunate things.
Good times.
But no, I mean, listen, but baseball's back. It's exciting to have it back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped up about it. And our draft is April 3rd, Sunday, April 3rd.
Super pumped. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it gets us back into it. Even though I don't have any picks in the first 10 rounds, I'm excited. And I will own the back half of that draft. So I will be trying to find 12 diamond in the roughs to be competitive. You will have to see what happens.
You will have the very best 18 through 24 picks in the history of fantasy.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. When you sell your soul to finish 5th, you've done a lot of great things. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's do you want to should we touch on our outfielders now, or do you want to do that a little later?
I think so. Let's just stay with baseball before we move on. You know, we've discussed starters as well as closer or relief pitchers. So we'll do outfielders this week, and then maybe
next week we'll try to do multiple positions. We'll try to clean up a couple a week.
Yeah, because we're up against the clock. We don't have
exactly. And I think we have a special guest joining us next week to talk about the Sweet 16. So we got a few things happening. So
fantastic.
Good things are happening.
Anyway, by the way, special thanks to Sweeney for coming on with us a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much. It was last week, so
that was a lot of fun.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
And back then we were asking if baseball was going to happen. He couldn't give us an answer, and then it happened 2 days later.
Yeah, thanks, Sweeney.
Sweeney, what the hell?
Nice and informative, you big jerk. So anyway, let's take a look at the outfilders and who you're going to go with, where you're going to go, where you're going to turn.
Who's your number one, baby? Who's your number one?
Dude, I don't think without any doubt about it, it's got to be Juan Soto.
I don't know if that's the case. I like Acuna.
Do you really? You know what? Acuna scares me because he's only going to get back in May. So he's going to be a little bit behind. So I'm not saying he's not a great outfielder.
But I think the whole league is going to be behind. So Soto and Acuna to me are the 1-2, and I know a lot of people don't like Acuna as high as I do. I just think he's a special talent. I think he does.
I agree. But one of the things that I find amazing, and everybody's got him, lower, and you understand why because of his history. But Mike Trout, he's down. He's being drafted. Some of the drafts I've seen 13th. He used to be the number one consensus guy every single time. And he hasn't lost his abilities in any way, shape, or form. But you can't trust him. He's always getting hurt, and that's why he's dropping.
Yeah, I didn't drop him as far as they did. He's still my 4th outfielder. I put Betts 3rd, and I put Trout 4.
Okay, so if we're going to do it that way, I got Soto 1. I got Betts 2. I like Kyler Tucker.
I dropped him a little bit. I think a lot of people like him more than I do.
Well,
I think as that lineup gets a little weaker, he's not going to see as many good pitches. That's just my opinion.
And this is coming from a guy who's got no picks until the 10th round, anyway. So,
well, I know what I'm talking about. I finished 5th.
Exactly.
I think I finished 6th. I'm sorry, I sold out and finished 6th, not even 5th.
There you go. But I you know what? I got. I think I like Acuna at 4. I like Trout at 5. I think that's a pretty good idea. 6. Where do you go? Give me 6 through 10.
My 6 was Aaron Judge.
Okay.
My 7 was Luis Robert. Or Robert, whatever you want to call him. My 8 is Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's going to get a lot of pitches to hit in that lineup. I move him up, but I have 9 as Chris Bryant just because of the signing in Colorado. And my 10, even though he didn't have the strongest year last year, I think Christian Yelich bounces back.
Okay, yeah, well, he needs to bounce back, that's for sure. Although I'm a little bit surprised that you have Toscar that high up, but
I just think he's going to get a lot of pitches in that lineup. I just do. There's a lot of runs to be driven in on that lineup.
That's true. That's true. I agree with that. But I think at number 6, I really like Nick Castellanos. He doesn't have a team yet, but I really like him. I think number 7, Yordan Alvarez, although he's probably going to see a lot more DHing than anything else, but that guy can hit like a mother. I'll go with Robert as number 8. Acuna. Did I go with Acuna yet?
You did, but if you wanted to be 4 and 9, that's fine.
Yeah, I wanted to be 4 and 9. You know what? I'll go with 9 with Judge. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to play.
True.
Due to the archaic rules that we have here in New York, where if you're a part of a team, or if you're part of a workforce and people are not vaccinated, they're not allowed to work. But if you've got somebody coming in from out of town to do stuff, like say the Toronto Blue Jays, if they're not vaccinated, every one of them can play. Doesn't matter.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's an outdoor stadium. We don't know that Judge isn't vaccinated. He just didn't answer the question.
Well, which means
it's like guilt by association, but I'm assuming that he's not. But we don't know.
Right, we don't know for sure. But
he'll miss more than half his games.
Exactly. After that, number 10, I'm going to go with J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez had a pretty nice comeback year last year, if you want to call it a comeback year.
No, he was excellent last year.
Yeah.
So 11 through 15, I'm just going to round through these. I have Springer going 11.
Okay.
My 12 is J.D. Martinez, so I'm not that far off from you.
Okay.
My 13 is Marte.
Okay. Which one?
Starling Marte.
Okay.
My 14 is, where did I write 14 down? My 14 is Jordan Alvarez, so I'm not that far behind you.
Right.
And then my number 15 is Arazarena.
Arazarena. Okay, yeah. He makes a nice player.
Not a great player. I drafted him pretty high last year.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't draft him that high again, but I would draft him. I would draft him in rounds like, between 6 and 10 or 7 and 10.
He seems to be a great playoff player.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's like so dynamic. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a nice little season last year, but
he wasn't great most of the year. He kind of came on at the end and really boosted those stats.
Right. But, with playoffs, the guy just becomes electric and,
no doubt about
almost unbeatable. But anyway, as I take a peek, see what's going on here, at number 11, I think at number 11, I'm going to go with Byron Buxton. More than anything,
talk about a guy that plays a lot.
Speaking of a guy who plays a lot, that's the problem. I mean, first few years, he just didn't produce the way everybody thought he was going to. And now injuries are becoming a bit of an issue for him. But the guy's got talent. I mean, he could very easily go 30, 100 and, bat 300.
No, you're right.
I think he's a 4, maybe even a 5-tool guy right there.
No, I can see it.
So I take a little bit of a chance with him. He's going to be my 10th round keeper, by the way. But I really like Byron Buxton. Number 12, Eloy Jimenez of the Chicago White Sox. Look for Eloy to bounce back, have a really good year. Number 13, Giancarlo Stanton, playing in the outfield once again. Was healthy all last year. Seemed like once he went back to the outfield, wow, all of a sudden he started hitting. So he was in the game. He was, really, really kicking it. Probably wasn't getting tight sitting on the bench waiting all that time. So I like him there. And you know what? I'm going to wrap up my top 15. Let us go with Chris Bryant for the same reason that you did. Not always a big Chris Bryant fan, but the fact that he's moving to Colorado, man. Now there's nobody around him to protect him, but he's going to put up big numbers out there in Colorado.
It's interesting. What I did for Bryant was quite the opposite I did with Winker. Mm-hmm. With Winker getting dealt to Seattle,
that kills him.
It does. I mean, I had him as a top 20 outfielder, and now he's not well out, but he's out of my top 20 now because in Seattle he's not going to get the same pop. Right. And it's a totally different game. So for me, if I was going to I'll just round out my top 20 and then that, number 16, I went with Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, there we go. Mm-hmm. Number 17, I went with Castellanos.
Okay, much higher than I would have. I put him much higher than you, but.
Yeah, number 18, I went with Eloy. So I also went low with him than you.
Yeah.
Number 19, I went with Cody Bellinger, which is not something that a lot of people like. I could see him bouncing back this year. And I'm going to go with Framil Reyes at number 20.
Okay, that's okay. My final, you know what? Let's just do 20 because I'm getting
we can go to 30, but we'll bore the hell out of everybody.
Right,
like we're not already.
I'm going to go with Marte at number 16. He's going to be the top of the Met order right now. He's dealing with a little bit of oblique strain. Nothing bad according to Buck.
But obliques can always be nervous. They make you nervous.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. They can be a problem if they drag on too long. Number 17, I'm going to go with Toscar. I understand what you're saying in that lineup, man. He's going to be right there. I just don't, show me again that you could do it because, last year he had a very good season. Before that, he didn't. So show me again, Toscar.
He hit him before that. I think he's pretty good.
I think you're a jerk. So then I'm going to go George Springer once again. Another one of the Toronto Blue Jays. Another idea, great lineup and stuff. Another guy who's got injury issues. He missed half the season last year in his first season over in Toronto. But we'll see what he does. Then I would like to go. I will go with. I'm going to go with. I'll go with Yelich. See what Yelich can do. He needs to have a bounce back year. Hopefully he's healthy. He used to be a consensus first round draft pick. Now he's dropped to like the 6th and 7th rounds. Let's see if he bounces back. And I still, by the way, I don't think I would pick him up until about that time anyway.
No, definitely not an early pick, but I do think he'll. Well, I actually had him a little earlier than you. I probably think in 5th, 6th round for him.
You did. You definitely had him before me. But and then you know what? Another one that people don't think about. I don't think anyway. At least as high. I really like Lourdes Gurriel of Toronto. Again, another Toronto player. Gurriel had a great season last year. Does he hit for a ton of pop? No, but the rest of his numbers, very, very good. And I'm going to go. He's going to wrap up my top 20.
So there we are.
We
have a lot of differences. In other positions, we were really close. This one, we seem to be a little bit all over. So that's good.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more exciting. So when I'm right and you're wrong, it'll be fun for me to talk to you about it.
When you're in 8th place and I'm in 2nd, you're right.
I'm sorry. Who finished higher last year?
People have bad years.
Who finished with mediocrity better than the other guy?
You were more mediocre than me.
I like mediocre better. Much better word.
Well, I'm sorry, it didn't fit there.
So anyway,
I'm no English teacher, but I know it didn't fit there.
Very, very true. So anyway, we're going to get into football for a quick second because Mr. Brady retired. But breaking news, Von Miller is now a Buffalo Bill.
Wow.
Von Miller has left the Rams for the Bills. You want to talk about a team that was pretty close, that just got another weapon? Wow. As a Jet fan, damn it. But, anywhere else, pretty exciting stuff. Von Miller becomes a Bill. But let's start. Speaking of exciting news, not that I love the guy, but Tom Brady.
That's right. Speaking of exciting news, the Giants signed Tyrod Taylor.
That's a big move for the Giants because now he's better than Mike Glennon. So when they're down to that second string quarterback, they have a guy that can run at least.
Dude, Geno is better than Mike Glennon, okay?
Oh, my God.
Mike Glennon was a disaster. But he's number one, they needed to get a better backup. No doubt about it. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is a superstar. I think he's a very, very good backup. So
he is.
But for a team that has so many cap issues, I think what they signed him for like $17 million for 2 years. I guess you got to spend money on if you want a decent backup. That just kind of seems like a lot of money.
Well, I just think that's what it costs now to make sure you have him in case there's an injury. Your whole season's not lost like it was last year.
Right. I mean, because it seems like they're out of the Mitch Trubisky sweepstakes. Everybody thinks
Trubisky signed with the he signed with the Steelers.
He did sign. Okay. For how much? Was it $10 million a year? $12 million?
It wasn't that far off. I'll tell you in 1 second. I mean, he did sign with the Steelers. Mitch Trubisky's 2 years, $14 million.
Oh, so he only gets $7 million a year.
Yep.
That's actually lower than I thought.
No, I mean, it's lower than I thought too. But Mitch Trubisky can't throw to his left. So if the whole game was just to his right, he'd be decent.
Yeah. He'd be a Pro Bowl player. But I originally, I know what you were getting at.
Listen, to be honest with you, as much as we're making fun of the Giants,